China's economy is in bad shape. The economic might of China is unmatched. Since Mao Zedong started imposing his strict rules on the populace, they had undoubtedly performed an economic miracle. The change was difficult, but as a result, China has grown into an economic titan, a force to be feared. But that hasn't been the case lately. China's economy is in bad shape. Let's dig in to find out how it ended up like this. After the United States, it has the second largest economy in the world. After the US and the Eurozone, it is the third largest importer in the world. Additionally, it is the biggest consumer of goods like iron, steel, cement, oil, and others. It is abundantly obvious from these qualifications that the Chinese economy is essential to international trade and business. This economy has taken a lot of heat over the last year. The stock markets are at record lows. The Chinese economy appears to be collapsing under its own weight. And the real estate market is rumored to be in a bubble. China's economy, which has been in decline for a while, is currently in freefall as a result of Xi Jinping's poor management. For the first time since 1976, the US economy is anticipated to expand more quickly than China's, and there are many signs that China has begun a protracted period of slow growth. More shockingly, Xi has essentially abandoned his ambitious intentions to change China's development model in an effort to stabilize the country's finances. Instead, he has chosen to intensify the very economic policies that put China in its current predicament. China, which last year was leading the pack of global economies in its recovery from the epidemic, has suffered a harsh setback as a result of the sudden slowdown. Since that time, many nations, including the United States, have reopened. China's economy is slowing down as it adapts to a strict zero-COVID plan and dwindling global demand. A global recession is more likely to occur if the second-largest economy in the world has a fall. Official growth numbers for the quarter of July to September are imminent. Although officials have downplayed the significance of reaching the objective, Beijing's ambition of 5.5% annual growth is currently unachievable. China almost missed the contraction that occurred from April to June. Some economists predict no growth this year. The nation may not be experiencing severe inflation like the US and UK, but it does have other issues. The world's factory has unexpectedly discovered fewer buyers for its goods both locally and abroad. Growth is also being hampered by trade conflicts between big economies like the US and China. Additionally, the yuan is on pace to have its worst year in decades as a result of its rapid decline against the US dollar. Uncertainty on the financial markets is fueled by investor apprehension brought on by a weak currency. Furthermore, it makes it difficult for the central bank to add money to the economy. President Xi Jinping is anticipated to win a historic third term at the Communist Party Congress. All of this is taking place at a time when the stakes are very high for him. So what specifically went wrong? Number 1. Zero COVID is wreaking havoc. In several places, including manufacturing hubs like Shenzhen and Tianjin, COVID outbreaks have hindered economic activity across industries. Because people aren't spending money on things like food and drink, retail, or travel, major services are under strain. The National Bureau of Statistics reports that manufacturing plant activity appears to have increased once more in September. The revival might be caused by the government's increasing investment in infrastructure. However, it did so 2 months after there had been no growth in production, and it has sparked concerns, particularly in light of a private poll that revealed a decline in manufacturing activity in September as a result of the impact of demand on output, new orders, and employment. Due to increasing interest rates, inflation, and the crisis in Ukraine, demand has decreased in nations like the US as well. Beijing might stimulate the economy further, according to experts, but there is little incentive to do so until zero COVID ends. According to Louis Kuids, chief Asia economist at S&P Global Ratings, there is not much purpose in injecting money into our economy if businesses cannot develop or people cannot spend the money. Number 2. Beijing isn't doing enough. Beijing intervened, announcing in August a 1 trillion yuan, $203 billion, 180 billion pounds, plan to support small enterprises, infrastructure, and real estate. but there is much more that government officials may do to spur expenditure and achieve economic goals and employment growth. On April 8, 2022, in Beijing, China, Chinese President Xi Jinping waves after speaking at a ceremony to recognize contributions to the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics and Paralympics. The zero-COVID strategies has been directly promoted by President Xi. This involves increasing infrastructure spending, lowering borrowing requirements for home buyers, real estate investors, and local governments, as well as providing tax breaks for individuals. Compared to what we have seen during prior economic downturns, the government's response to the weakening economy has been rather muted. Number 3. China's property market is in a crisis. Growth has undoubtedly been hampered by the housing sector's negative outlook and sluggish real estate activity. This has had a very severe effect on China's economy because up to a third of its GDP is made up of sectors that contribute to it, including real estate (GDP). When confidence in the real estate market is low, people start to have second thoughts about the health of the economy as a whole. Some home buyers are unsure whether their homes will ever be finished and have been refusing to make mortgage payments on partially built properties. The need to import building materials has lessened as the demand for new homes has declined. Despite Beijing's efforts to assist the real estate market, home prices have decreased by more than 20% this year in a number of places. Property developers are under pressure, analysts say. Therefore, government action to restore trust in the real estate market may need to go further. Number 4. Climate change is making matters worse. Extreme weather's consequences are starting to linger on China's enterprises. A strong heatwave and subsequent drought in August completely destroyed the southwest province of Sichuan and the central belt city of Chongqing. The demand for air conditioning rose in a place where hydropower is almost the sole source of electricity, finally overloading the electrical grid. Several factories, including renowned ones like Tesla and iPhone maker Foxconn, were forced to cut back on their operating hours or shut down totally. China's Statistics Bureau reported in August that revenues in the iron and steel industry alone had dropped by more than 80% compared to the same period in 2021. Beijing ultimately came to the aid of farmers and energy businesses with tens of billions of yuan. Number 5. China's tech titans are losing investors. The 2-year-old regulatory campaign on China's internet giants has little effect. In the most recent quarter, Tencent and Alibaba both announced their first decline in sales. Tencent's profits plummeted by 50%, while Alibaba's net income dropped by 50%. Growth is being significantly hampered by the real estate market turmoil in China. Tens of thousands of young workers have lost their jobs, adding to the unemployment rate among those between the ages of 16 and 24. Long-term, this might be detrimental to China's productivity and growth. Investors have seen a change in Beijing as well, as Mr. Xi's hold on power tightens. Some of China's most prosperous private enterprises are now subject to more scrutiny. Foreign investors are pulling their money away from the market as state-owned businesses seem to be gaining popularity. During the same time that Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway was selling its investment in electric vehicle manufacturer BYD, Japan's SoftBank withdrew a sizable sum of money from Alibaba. Investments in Tencent have lost more than $7 billion just in the second half of this year. Additionally, the U.S. is taking tough measures against Chinese firms that are listed on its stock exchange. S&P Global Ratings recently stated in a report that certain investment decisions are being postponed, and some foreign corporations are seeking to increase output in other countries. Beijing may no longer be as welcoming to foreign investors as it once was, but Mr. Xi is endangering the prosperity that has propelled China in recent decades. Beyond all other factors, China's economic strength continues to be the cornerstone of its enormous power. China was able to connect itself to the rest of the globe thanks to the market's gravitational pull and Beijing's capacity to change global political perceptions and economic conditions. The benefits of China's economic growth also supported its efforts to project its might, paying for the Belt and Road Initiative, military modernization, and a growing number of international commitments. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, also benefited domestically from China's GDP growth, which enabled a state capitalism model that dismantled barriers between the private sector and governmental institutions to mobilize the former in support of the latter. However, China's rapid development, which was propelled by yearly GDP growth exceeding 6%, seems to have peaked. The content in this video is not professional financial advice, but purely based on our own research and opinion. So do let us know which topic we should cover next. If you enjoyed the content, give us a like and please subscribe to know more. See you at the next one. Bye.